Welcome everybody. So I'm gonna get straight into it. Wobbuffet. Wobbuffet was god awful in game. It's a little bit harsh actually. It wasn't god awful. Wasn't great. Definitely was not great. However, it actually can be pretty good. In certain situations, especially in like hardcore Nuzlocke, it can be pretty cool. To counter mirror code stuff. But it was definitely the definition of a one-trick pony, and that trick isn't even that impressive. So first things first, Shadow Tag is useless for the player because the AI very, very rarely hard switches. They do have. Hold on, this music is kind of quiet, or maybe my volume is just low. No, the music is just extremely quiet. It's a little better. Um, so what was I trying to say there? Shadow Tag is useless for the player rather. So they have two amazing new abilities each that I will cover in a second. And most importantly, they have a massive stat changes and a plethora of new moves. None of those directly do damage besides foul play. So I'm not crazy. Don't worry. I'm not making Wobbuffet an offensive monster. It is, however, one of the best utility Pokemon, if not the best utility Pokemon in the hack. Here's what I'll say. Wobbuffet requires a lot of skill to use, but in the right hands, it can be an incredible asset for your team. I, for one, would love to use one. It would be super fucking fun to just come up with all these strategies to use it for. But yeah, Shadow Tag is useless to the players, so I have to give it new abilities because, again, the AI really hard switches, and then when they do use switch moves or eject button, which is now infinite use, they're not going to be, that bypasses Shadow Tag, I believe. So it's kind of just pointless. So you have a massive stat boost. So you do have you do retain an amazing HP stat of 150, but I did change it a little bit just because I felt that number one, HP is based more on size. Despite that, I still let them keep their large HP stat because, again, they are Wobbuffet, and it's kind of the point of them. They do blow themselves up like a bag. So same reason I kept Blissy's base I kept Blissey at 155 base HP. It's the same reason. I did have to tone it down a little bit because the only mons with like 150 plus HP are just huge ass Pokemon like Guzzlord and Wailord and stuff. And this also allows me to put stats in more important places. So, yeah, Wobbuffet still has its great 150 base HP. However, it has amazing bulk now. It is one of the bulkiest Pokemon in terms of stats in the hack. In terms of raw stats, of course, there are bulky Pokemon with like abilities and whatnot, but in terms of raw stats, it is one of the bulkiest Pokemon, as it should be, because literally all it can do is take hits and have utility. But that utility is immense, and I cannot wait to get into it. So I'm literally just going to talk about every single little move and every single little thing you can do, but I'm going to start with the most viable stuff. And before I can talk about that, I want to talk about my thought process. And excuse me, and also, oh god, and also the new abilities. So, yeah, massive special defense stat now, and a very good physical defense stat now. Again, they are punching bags, so I think that base 108 can fit pretty well for defense, and then base 158 is immense with special defense. Wobbuffet can completely absorb hits with ease. And now you have two new abilities on Wobbuffet. Those abilities, so what's really awesome here is you actually have a viable emergency exit Pokemon. It's actually very, very, very useful on Wobbuffet. So in this ROM hack, you have access to an infinite use ability capsule, which you can use, which you should be using to cycle between your abilities at will. It's not just a one and done. I'm going to keep this ability the whole time. You should be swapping between them, depending on the situation. So your two abilities on Wobbuffet are excellent. They are Emergency Exit and Magic Bounce. Magic Bounce has the obvious benefit of completely negating Taunt. So, for a Pokemon that is literally basically all utility moves, besides Counter, Mirror Coat, Bide, Foul Play, and like a couple more, Final Gambit, like those are technically attacks, but in reality, it's basically all status moves. So, for, being immune to Taunt is the least I could do for it. I think it also fits, given that they're a Psychic type and they have this weird little tail thing. I think Magic Bounce fits well enough. And again, completely immune to Taunt. Taunt is very common in this hack because I have given Pokemon Taunt just to be like anti-setup Pokemon. So, the leads will typically have Taunt, or they'll have some other way to stop you from setting up. But Wobbuffet completely ignores that. It is one of the most reliable setup mons in the hack. Actually, probably the most reliable, because of how bulky it is and because of how many moves it has. So that's great with Magic Bounce, all right? Of course, that also completely bounces back stuff. So, for example, if you switch it in on a Charm or on any other move, oh, I should have given them Tearful Look, shouldn't I? Yeah, also, bear with me. I'm probably going to be like tweaking level up moves or tweaking or adding moves while I talk, because as I speak, I realize, oh shit, I should have done that. Oh shit, I should have done this. Especially in a mon where it has this many fucking status moves, and they're all like, the order is obviously like intentional, but some of it's a little bit arbitrary. Like, it was difficult to order all the moves, as you can probably imagine. So I have to add Tearful Look in there somewhere. I'm gonna put it over Teeter Dance, honestly. You don't need Teeter Dance. It's Confusion is ass. Confusion's only 33% chance. Who cares? Let me just put that on Why Not and Wobbuffet. That's really nice. Tearful Look, Wobbuffet, Tearful Look, and that also, if you are not familiar with it, it does -1 to both their offensive stats, which is really great. So I can't wait to talk about all this stuff. There's so much to go through, though, so bear with me. It'll be a little bit all over the place, but that's how I usually am. If you are new here, just sit back and enjoy the video. But there is a lot of other in-depth changes for all the other Pokemon that you can go check out with my videos. Because I imagine this video will probably do relatively well, just based on the fact that it's a Wobbuffet, and people are like, "Oh shit, Wobbuffet is good. Oh, let me go click on that." So I probably should have addressed this at the beginning, but I did that for unknown, and I guess I just forgot to do it here. It's probably fine. Back on topic, we have Emergency Exit and Magic Bounce. So Magic Bounce is obviously great. Like, you can switch it in. It swaps around, like, or it reflects back, status moves. So if they're trying to put you to sleep, oh nope, can't be done. Oh, they're trying to status you, oh, can't be done. Obviously stuff like Mold Breaker does bypass that, but it's not the most common ability anymore. Overall, you can really rely on that. Also, like Parting Shot, like, oh yeah, you reflect back Parting Shot, which is very common in Pokemon. You can just switch it in, and it's like, nope, no you. Your stats are getting dropped, not mine. Obviously, it doesn't actually matter in that case because I got to switch out, I assume. I wonder if it'll still be pulled off. But yours, yeah, actually, Parting Shot wasn't a good example. But tons of other stuff, especially in the mid-20s as Why Not, although Why Not does not have Magic Bounce, so I am also double L in terms of covering the changes. God. Why Not has Unaware and Wimp Out. Wimp Out is the same functionally as Emergency Exit, and I will get into why that's good. Don't get me wrong, because you might not really, I don't blame people for not understanding why that's good. The trained eye might notice and be like, oh wait, that's actually really good because it's like a pivot. It's an infinite pivot, and of course it's optional. It's not a forced Emergency Exit, which is great. But yeah, Why Not Unaware is amazing. You also have access to like Psych Up, Power Swap, and Guard Swap, and Topsy-Turvy before you evolve. All of those are good for totems. You can also technically use a Violate Why Not. It actually is genuinely viable. I have to put them on the speed tier guide. I'll do that while I talk. It's not the most viable at Violet Mon, but it genuinely does have use. So your HP stat will double when you evolve. It goes from 75 to 150. But excuse me. Despite, like, other than that, like, yeah, you are bulkier technically. I don't know if you are with the HP considered, and you don't really need your item that much. So like, it is nice. And I will say that Unaware, like, Magic Bounce is amazing, but so is Unaware. So it's really up to you which ability you would prefer. And you can run the calcs to see who's bulkier. I'm honestly not, and I just am not exactly in the mood to do that right now. I'm not gonna lie. On video, I just don't feel like it. But I'm sure defensively, obviously, it's bulkier. But I don't know about if you factor in the HP. I forget. If I had to guess, I'd say probably overall a little bit bulkier. But that HP is a big deal because of Counter and Mirror Coat. The way those work, you do want that big HP stat to deal more damage. So, and of course, you are going to want Held Item sometimes. So, especially because Why Not doesn't have Magic Bounce, so you really are vulnerable to taunt. So I would say Wobbuffet is a little bit better because of Magic Bounce, but Unaware is a great tool, so it's up to you which one you would prefer. So you can use the cute little Why Not if you want. Why not? God, I couldn't go the whole video without making that pun. I'm so sorry. Let me just put these guys right there. Put this here. Make this that. Okay, now we're good. Now we're talking. Sorry, this should be 23. What am I doing? 23 speed. Ugh, I have to make a whole new tier down here. Are you kidding me? Blah. Actually, I should have done the other way around. Sorry, everybody. I'm not talking very much while I do this. Oh, I can't do that, can I? Yeah, okay. I'll do that after the video. And if I forget, then I forget. It doesn't matter. I probably will do it after the video. I just don't want to, because I'm not going to multitasking, so I'm not going to be speaking while I do that if I keep talking, if I keep doing that. So, moves. All right, I'm going to cover moves because stats are pretty self-explanatory. Why Not is extremely bulky as well. And it evolves at a very reasonable level at 33. Unaware is great for totems. You can use Psych Up. You can use, basically you ignore those totem boosts. They're also great just for setup mons in general. Power Up, Punch. There's not too much setup in the mid early 20s, but you'll have stuff like Power Up, Punch, Charge Beam, Rage, Work Up, Hone Claws. Those moves are boosting moves early game, so that's nice to ignore those. So yeah, Why Not's great. As for Wobbuffet, though, this is really, it gets interesting. So I'm going to talk about other options now. I'm going to cover TM and tutor moves first, and I might be jumping back and forth a little bit because some of them are only relevant because of certain moves. So, for example, by TM and tutor, you have access to Work Up, Calm Mind, and Nasty Plot. I think those fit their vibe pretty well, especially given the, like, you know, if you read their dex entries, like, it desperately, you know, if you read the dex entries, it really does fit. Wobbuffet especially fits Nasty Plot. So what you can do is you can then baton pass those boosts. So with baton pass, you can baton pass Work Up, Calm Mind, or Nasty Plot whenever you want via TM, or you can teach by level up Stockpile and Swallow. Well, Stockpile, Swallow, okay, so Swallow is buffed, so that way if you have only one Stockpile boost, you get 100% recovery. So for example, you can click Stockpile, do whatever you want to do, you have +1 defenses, and then eventually when you need to heal, you can click the Swallow, and that's basically like a full restore, essentially. I believe I also made it priority. If I didn't, I definitely will right now to make it more viable. Pretty sure I did, though. Oh, I didn't. Okay, we're doing that right now. Yeah, that should definitely be priority. I think it's really cool. That makes it like actually really useful. And it's still niche at the end of the day, but it's a very cool thing to have. Let me put that in literally right now. Or actually, I will just leave that open so I don't forget. Swallow. I will do it on the sheets as well. Should be +6, whatever. It doesn't matter. Or +4. It doesn't matter. +4 is fine. 4 is like the same tier as like first impression. Take out will I prioritize that as it should. So I don't have room for that, but it's fine. I'm sure people will notice in game. I'll figure out the description because it's also kind of cramped in game. Either way, so yeah, that will also be priority. So you can basically like stockpile even just one time, and then, you know, use your other utility moves. You can set up everything you need to do. You can do your screens. Again, you can't be taunted, so you are completely immune to that. And then eventually, when you need to heal, you can click that Swallow and get that healing. But back on topic, baton pass moves. So baton pass is negative priority, which doesn't really matter in Wobbuffet's case because it's slow. But you can baton pass Z Hop, which will give +3 attack, Work Up, Nasty Plot, Calm Mind. And then you have Stockpile, and then you have Amnesia and Barrier, both of which give +2 to each defensive stat. So those are all awesome moves with Baton Pass. And then you also have Z setup moves. A lot of these will give like a +2 Spadat for special attack boost if you want to do that as well. So that's awesome with Baton Pass. And again, you cannot be taunted. So I know I keep repeating that, but it really is an amazing trait for Wobbuffet to have now. So actually, before I talk more about the moves, I want to talk about Emergency Exit. So, and also Wimp Out, which is the same ability. It's so cool that it's actually like a viable ability on a Pokemon. Like, yeah, I had Sentret and like a couple other babies who have the abilities, but like in reality, it's good, but like it's, you know, you're only using that for like 10 levels and then you evolve. Versus in this case, it's viable the entire game, which is just super cool to me. Also, I think that fits very well given their given their personality and stuff. Like, you know, they're hiding and they're never, you know, they hate light. They endure attacks only, so I think like trying to run away fits really nicely. I believe they even had Rattled, or maybe why not had Rattled? No, why do I think that they had Rattled? I don't know why I thought that. So anyways, yeah, Emergency Exit is basically great because once you get below half HP, you can guaranteed switch out without picking up a turn to switch, and you're slow. So you're basically like the ultimate pivot. It is one of the best pivot mons in the game. It also has Parting Shot, which is obviously great given how bulky you are. That's just like literally, if anything, you can just use this as like a guarantee. Like, okay, I switch this into most attacks. It lives most attacks easily. It can Moonlight up to heal. It can Swallow to heal. It can Rest and Sleep Talk to heal. And then you can Parting Shot out when you need to. And you can always heal up later. And with Emergency Exit, you also have kind of almost a built-in Parting Shot. So you can actually use stuff like Charm, Tickle, Confide. So Tickle and Confide. So Tickle drops your physical stats by 1. Confide drops your special stats by 1, which is nice. Well, it doesn't drop yours, but obviously it drops the opponent's. Charm is -2 attack, obviously. I should give them Befriend too, but it doesn't really fit that well, actually. It kind of fits. I think I'll just give it just for the sake of like having it, you know. Also, I think it's kind of cute, and Why Not does have it, so it's cuter on Why Not learning it than it is for Wobbuffet. Let me do that real quick. Level up moves. Why Not? 25. Add in Befriend. Oh, that should not be Psychic. That should be Fairy. Excuse me. That is a special equivalent to Charm. So you have those 2 moves as well. I'm sorry, I cannot multitask. Let me just quickly plug this in before I continue talking. Befriend. Okay, so yeah, you have tons of other great stuff. But basically, what emergency exit means, obviously, this is optional. So, some battles you're going to need that magic bounce, and there's a lot of situations where you're going to want emergency exit. You can switch your Wobbuffet in, and then that'll give you a free switch later on into one of your frailer Pokemon. So, you can run extremely fast, extremely frail offensive Pokemon, and run that Wobbuffet as a buffer, and you can use dual screens. So you can use dual screens like play with emergency exit. So you can essentially, or magic bounce. So magic bounce means you're immune to taunt, but emergency exit means you can basically get a free switch after you get that light screen up, for example. So you can do all the utility stuff you need to do. You can set up that gravity, you can set up that psychic terrain, whatever you want to set up. You can click tickle and confide a bunch of times. You can click tail wag, play nice. All of these moves, you can click them repeatedly, and then eventually, once they whittle you down to below half HP, you'll be swapped out automatically. So again, that could seem like a burden, but since you can pick to have that, you can use that only in situations where it's beneficial to you, if that makes sense. So, topsy-turvy, it reverses stat changes, so you can use that against totems or stat boosting mons, and then maybe they'll knock you below half and you get a free swap into something else. It's really an amazing pivot. For those of you who are familiar with 66 competitive, that's where I'm using the term. Obviously, in game, it's much different. The mechanics are a lot different. The AI is garbage versus playing against a real player. You're kind of constantly switching. Versus the AI, you're the only one who's switching for the most part. Bar switch moves, which I have been giving to trainers to make them switch around a little bit more often to spice things up a bit. Since everything on the planet has parting shot, Volt Switch at U-turn now. And if they don't, then I could just give him an eject button if I really wanted to. Because that's infinite use now. It doesn't go away after you use it. Which is useful for Wobbuffet as well, although kind of niche, but it's again, it's a good option. You could also use buffed Shell Bell with counter or mirror coat if you really wanted to, because Shell Bell heals by 20% now, which is mostly good for offensive Pokemon or recoil moves, because Shell Bell will actually negate recoil for the most part. It negates the TM recoil moves, and then the stronger recoil moves, they only deal 5% recoil with Shell Bell, but this is not relevant for Wobbuffet. I want to get back on topic. So other really cool things you can do. Again, emergency exit plus debuffing moves, which is debuffing meaning stat dropping moves. That's an amazing thing to have. You have reliable recovery with Moonlight. I think Moonlight fits because of Why Not Stack Entries talking about how it gathers on moonlit nights or something. Gathers on moonlit nights, squeezes up against each other. So I think that fits really nicely. And again, here it says train to dole out power for counter attacks. So that's why they have such good bulk. Hold on, let me take a sip. These guys just seem so fucking fun to use, so creative. You can do so many things with them. And they are just the ultimate utility mon, ultimate pivot, ultimate bulk, ultimate answer to any offensive threat for the most part. It's awesome. Obviously, it isn't overpowered because by nature it's not. I mean, it's obviously if this was competitive and it had all these moves and Shadow Tag, yeah, Shadow Tag would 100% be banned. As for the other two abilities, I'm not sure. I feel like it would be fine, but most of these changes would be ridiculous and competitive because this isn't competitive. This is in game, and it's totally different rules. So yeah, back to the moves. I'm just gonna go in order now because I think I talked about all the baton pass stuff and the stat dropping stuff for the most part. So I'm just gonna go in order. So Bide is really good because of how bulky you are. Safeguard is just there because it should be. It's nice to have. Tail Wag is a priority and drops defense by 1. Play Nice is the same but for special attack instead. So you can choose which one you want there. Defense Curl is kind of nice for early game. Tearful Look is amazing. That drops both their offensive stats by 1. That's awesome. Torment is nice because it's kind of like a pseudo disable, and you can actually do Torment plus Protect and completely disable a move as long as you're on the field. Actually, as long as anything's on the field, because you can always Torment plus Protect later, because Torment makes it so you can't use the same move twice in a row. So if you Protect in between, then you can basically make it so they can never use that move. While Disable is temporary, but you don't need to run Protect. So you can choose weigh your options there. Tickle and Confide are, like I said already, really good. Psychic Terrain is niche for your teammate support. You can always set that up to get Nature Power Psychic on other Pokemon, or just make it so they can't use priority moves on your team, or boost your own Psychic moves, or run Psychic Seed or whatever it is. Psychic Seed on Burden. It's nice because you're bulky. It's just easy to set up. Could be very beneficial for Hala, especially if it is obtainable pre-Hala, which I'm not sure if it will be. I don't know if there's a spot for it because there's only one cave and it doesn't really fit to be in that cave, honestly, and I need more mons in there anyways. So it'll probably be 10 Carat Hill or something, but we'll figure all that stuff out after Mon shoots are done. So yeah, Disable's great. Moonlight is great, obviously. Detect is nice. Z Detect will heal you by all of your HP, so that's pretty cool to have. You can use that with Torment if you want. So one thing that Wobbuffet clearly suffers from, I don't think anybody is gonna wonder about this. It clearly suffers from 4 move slot syndrome. The best thing, the good thing is a lot of your best moves are via TM. So like Parting Shot, Reflect Blight Screen, those are by TM, which is very helpful, at least. So you can always reteach those. But a lot of your other really good moves are not. So you're kind of always gonna want to have Counter Mirror Coat. Honestly though, you can go like you don't need that anymore. Like you can use them purely as utility. You don't need to use them as offensive anymore. Obviously, yeah, Counter Mirror Coat are great. Don't get me wrong, especially with their newfound bulk. But like, you don't need it really. Like you can totally run something else and just use Emergency Exit or Magic Bounce and just be purely supportive. And again, they are some of the best supportive Pokemon in the entire hack, if not the best, which is really unique and awesome. They just seem so fun. There's so much stuff to do with them. So Psych Up is pretty cool with Unaware. That just copies their stat boosts for totems, especially. It's nice. Charming Befriend is obviously amazing. Power Swap and Guard Swap are really interesting. Those are like Psych Up, but instead of copying boosts, it swaps boosts, and those are priority. So Psych Up copies all the stat boosts, but that's kind of useless when you think about it, because like what are you using those stat boosts for other than to be bulkier maybe? It's kind of useless. But Power Swap and Guard Swap are not useless. They are amazing because they will swap the stat boosts. So you can actually like, oh shit, this mon in front of me is +3 attack. Oh, Guard Swap. Oh, sorry, Power Swap in that case. So that's awesome. Those do not swap your stats. I know a lot of people think they do. I thought they did at one point. They do not. They swap stat boosts. A really cool thing you have is Entrainment. Entrainment is amazing. Entrainment is really awesome because you can give something Emergency Exit or Wimp Out, which is really cool. It's niche, obviously, but it's really cool because you can like Entrainment, Emergency Exit something and then like force it out on a tactical level. Like you can time when you force it out. It's really interesting. Has a lot of applications for sure. Also, I didn't mention yet Foul Play. Foul Play is one of their best offensive moves. I think it fits really well given their dex entries and stuff with Wobbuffet and the fact that it almost seems like a dark type in a way. I did consider Psychic Dark and Psychic Ghost, but I opted to just keep them as pure Psychic for simplicity and because we have other Psychic Darks. So yeah, and also because pure Psychic is arguably better defensive typing. They have more resistances as pure Psychic than you do as a Psychic Dark. I believe with Psychic Dark you have no resistances. Pretty sure you have 0 resistances. Yeah, 0. You just have one immunity to Psychic, and that's it. So yeah, it is better to have well, you can actually argue it's better to not have resistances with Wobbuffet if you're using counter and stuff, but overall, I would rather just have pure Psychic. But yeah, Foul Play is amazing as well, and that's reteachable, so that's another one of your best moves, and that's reteachable. Endeavor also is great, and that's also reteachable, so that's all really awesome. Alright, I'm just going to go through all these moves. So, back to level ups. Entrainment is cool. Topsy-Turvy and Flatter is a cool combination. It's not the best because, well, Topsy-Turvy is amazing, but Flatter is kind of a meme. It's just there for, like, memes. Flatter is cool because it will confuse, and then it'll give them +2 special attack, and then if you click Topsy-Turvy next turn, they'll be -2 special attack, and confused still. It will last consistent amount of turns. Maybe I should make those, like, confusion last forever or something, so it's better, because those moves do kind of suck, I'm not going to lie. But I'll leave them for now. Flatter, obviously. Topsy-Turvy is amazing. I mean, that's excellent. You completely, like, you can just stop a sweep in his tracks right there with Topsy-Turvy. That's even better on Why Not with Unaware, you could argue. So, like, versus Totems, you can run Unaware Topsy-Turvy. That's also something you might want to consider. You might want to consider not evolving your Why Not until later, because it's an option, because it evolves with Psychic Gem, so you can actually wait to evolve it. So you could consider, like, you know, keeping it until maybe you beat Totem Mimikyu or something, and then after you beat Totem Mimikyu, then you can evolve, something like that. You know, it's up to you. However, it is great for Olivia, and it is great to be immune to Taunt, and you do have more HP as Wobbuffet and Item Freedom, so you know, you gotta pick your options there. Speed Swap is cool. It's kind of just a meme, but it's cool because you can give something shitty 33 base speed, and you will gain high speed, which is cool if you want to use that, plus like Magic Bounce, plus like screens. You can use like fast screens with Speed Swap, which is cool. It's just a niche little option. A really cool one is Power Split. Power Split averages your attack and special attack with the opponent. So on Why Not, you're averaging your base 23 attacks with the opponent and completely neutering them. And then with Wobbuffet, you're still neutering them. You have base 33 in both. So that's really fucking awesome and cool and funny. Genuinely a useful option for sure. Memento is good if you're not doing a Nuzlocke. Destiny Bond as well. Those are both good if you're not doing Nuzlocks. Which I, again, did balance this hack with Nuzlocks in mind, with Hardcore Nuzlocke specifically, although Hardcore Nuzlocks are forced, essentially, because healing item is disabled by default. But I cannot enforce set battle style, but I hope most people that are playing this hack would like to play on set, so Switch is like big baby style. So, what am I trying to say here? Lucky Chant is awesome. I put that at level 42 because most of the Ruthless Pokemon learn their critical hit rate moves by the late 30s or early 40s, for the most part, or mid 40s. So getting Lucky Chant at 42 is useful to completely stop those in their tracks for 5 turns. It's niche, but it's just there for flavor. Trick Room is awesome. It's one of the best Trick Room settings in the game because of Magic Bounce. Although Trick Room is positive priority now, I forgot. So it actually doesn't matter with Magic Bounce, but it is great. So one really awesome thing you can do is you can run Trick Room plus Emergency Exit and be forced out. And that's really, really incredible. So you can use like dual screens plus Trick Room on the last turn. So like, for example, you can time your moves so that way, or you can run Magic Bounce with the Parting Shot, of course. So either way, it's a great Trick Room setter, and it can really like, you can basically make it so you get that Trick Room up and then you're immediately swapped out. You can also just run Trick Room plus Eject Button if you want, because Trick Room is priority. You can basically just get it up instantly and then be swapped out with the Eject Button that turn as long as they attacked you, and then you can, you know, abuse Trick Room for 4 turns with your teammates. So it is one of the best Trick Room setters alongside Porygon 2. If I had to, and probably like Stack Attack and a couple others will be the best setters. Because Trick Room is no longer a TM, it has very limited distribution because I don't want trainers just being instantly shut down by it. So I think that if I just make it limited distribution, it's almost like a buff to those Pokemon that do get it, you know. So you know, it's a solid handful of mons that get it so far. I know like Hypno, Alakazam, Mr. Mime, a couple others. You know, a good amount of mons get it, but yeah. What else is left? I already covered Stockpile and Swallow. Again, with Priority Swallow, heals you by 100%. Click Stockpile once. 5 turns later, you swallow, you're full HP again. It's really awesome. It's really, really cool. I'm totally gonna, I mean, there's so many cool things you can try here. It's so fun. It has such bad 4 moveset syndrome, though. It's such a shame. Such a shame. Normally, I don't mind that, but I feel like with Wobbuffet's case, it really is, like, rough. You're gonna really be juggling your moves. It's pretty difficult. Amnesia Berry, I already covered all that. Oh, and then the last thing by level up that's funny that I didn't cover yet is Final Gambit. You have 150 base HP Final Gambit. Obviously a Nuzlocke that's useless. Well, not useless, but that's suicide. But if you're not doing a Nuzlocke, that's just really funny. You can run like Trick Room Final Gambit if you want. That's really awesome. It's a guaranteed KO on like everything. There's like 10 mons that have more than 150 base HP probably, if that many, honestly. So it's definitely in the top 5 HP stats in the game. Or probably top 10, definitely top 10, which is just really funny. Obviously, it's not that great in practice because you do have very low speed, but it's still cool to have nonetheless. So that's cool at level 60. Mostly for trainers as well, but again, you can't taunt it. Well, actually, Final Gambit isn't a status move anyway, so that won't make sense. But it's just cool. What else is there? So now level up. Sorry, TM and Tutor. Endure is cool. Protect is obviously a given. Pain Split is nice for healing early game. If you don't want to run Moonlight, or if you had to ditch Moonlight for a specific strategy, you can always fall back on Rest or Pain Split for healing if you need it, via TM and Tutor, because those are reteachable, while Moonlight is obviously not. Excuse me. Gravity is cool. You know, you can use it with like hustle Pokemon on your team. Like Emergency Exit Gravity is really cool. You can get that gravity boost, then you can be forced out, and then you can abuse gravity with your teammates, which is cool. You'll have like 4 turns of that. Skill Swap is useful. Same as Entrainment. I didn't realize, huh? Yeah, no, that's kind of just. Oh, actually, Entrainment does. Okay, maybe let me move Entrainment earlier then, maybe, and swap that with like Disable or something. Because I didn't really think about the fact that that exists. So you can have Entrainment for pre-hollow stuff. So you can use it, and then obviously Skill Swap is technically better. Although there will be situations where you might want that to keep Emergency Exit or Magic Bounce, while with Skill Swap you have to take the opponent's ability. So it's not like those two moves are totally overlap, but let me just quickly fix that. 20, what was it? 19. 29 is now Disable, and 19 is Entrainment. Yeah. And I'll keep it the same one. I'm gonna be about to turn to Wobbuffet because he doesn't evolve till 33, so it'll just be by mover linear and stuff. So, anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was going to the level tutor moves. So yeah, Skill Swap is cool. Trick is really useful. Trick is priority as well, so you can like swap your ability instantly. You can trick Sticky Barb, which is really awesome. Priority trick with Sticky Barb because Sticky Barb is buffed, so Sticky Barb will deal how much? 25% HP instead of 12%. So basically, in 4 turns, a mon holding a Sticky Barb will die if you don't touch it, which is like really funny. It's not the best thing in the world, but you can buy that. So it's like, you know, it's very, you can keep that in the bag and use it when you need it. Trick is also reteachable infinitely. So, you know, for totems, Sticky Barb Trick is actually genuinely useful. You can totally do that. Very, very funny strategy. And again, with Sticky Barber Trick, you can click Protect, and then it dies. So you click Trick on the first turn, you Protect on the second turn, you whatever Moonlight on the third turn, then you Protect again, and then it's dead. So that's really funny. You have Rest and Sleep Talk, obviously. Taunt is very useful. Parting Shot is one of its best moves. Reflect on Light Screen are also some of its best moves with Light Clay, or without it if you don't, if you need some other item. Sub is just there for, you could use Sub with like Magic Bounce and like setup moves and Baton Pass. That's actually really useful. Oh, yeah, I didn't mention yet. Wobbuffet is one of the best Baton Passers, if not the best Baton Pass users in the game, because of how fucking bulky it is and because of Magic Bounce. It is by far actually probably the best Baton Passer in the game. It can just easily Baton Pass, Nasty Block, Calm Mind, all these other moves. It can easily pass those to your teammates, which is awesome. Definitely useful in that, right? Which is why I made it level 55, because it's pretty overpowered. So that's really awesome. So yeah, that's that. Endeavor is useful. Foul Play is obviously great. Nasty Block, Calm Mind for Baton Pass. Block is just there. All of these, so these last moves are all post-game tutors because I have to shove all of like the not that great moves in the post-game tutor. However, these moves are all buffed in some regard for the most part. Most of them are. So they do have use. I'm not gonna waste time covering all of it because it's post-game, so it's only gonna matter for Rainbow Rocket and like the league rematches and shit. It's not gonna matter. It matters, but like it's not worth me going through every little nitty-gritty niche option that you get. So those are all cool moves, though. They are just definitely useful. So yeah, that's Wobbuffet for you. All right. I hope this was informative because this was definitely a long and interesting one. Not that long actually. Oh, actually, this is long. I have no idea how long it was actually. Oof. I thought this was a 30-minute video, but it's 7 minutes, so I have no clue how long I've been going. Yeah, I think I covered everything. It's a really awesome utility mon. Honestly, I would make the statement that it is the best Pokemon for utility in the entire hack, and that is a big deal given the difficulty level you're definitely going to want. And again, I think that Wobbuffet and Why Not will really reward intelligent players. And that's not to call you guys stupid. That's just to say that it does take a lot of thought into using it, and some people don't want to do that. Some people just want to go, haha, funny moves, and like that's totally like I totally respect that. I also relate sometimes, but I will say that if you are the type of person who likes to really plan out stuff or be really strategic with things, I think you can definitely take a lot of you can get a lot of use out of Wobbuffet and Why Not. A lot of use. They can do a lot of utility stuff. It's really, really fun. And of course, they can also just do a lot of damage with Counter, Mirror Coat, and Foul Play and stuff, which is nice. And they're just absolute walls. I mean, having these defensive Pokemon is awesome for a hack with power levels as high as this hack has. So it's really nice to just have them to fall back on. Super big stats. Super fucking fun. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one as much as I did, because it's really fun. And if this was informative, or if you like this kind of thing, or if you like this type of deep dive type video, please feel free to subscribe. It would help me a lot if you would comment and like the video as well, because then my video will get recommended to more people. So if you saw this video and you recommended, and you want that to happen to other people, then go ahead and drop a comment, drop a like, subscribe. You can also join my Discord server in the description if you want. You can talk to people in there. You can talk to me in there. You can download my other hack, which is older. Baron Black in there. Also, if you're returning, you can just leave now. Like I'm just going to be talk about new stuff for new people. So I appreciate you listening for those of you who are returning viewers. But as for new viewers, yeah, you can feel free to do all that. That would be very helpful. I think that's honestly it. Yeah, terrible Pokemon made amazing. I mean, it's so fun. I'm really happy with how these guys turned out. Super, super unique. Super, super fun. I know I keep repeating myself, but I'm really excited for them. So I really do appreciate the time that you took out of your day to listen to this. I hope it was informative. I know I said that, but I really do hope it was informative. I hope it wasn't like talking too fast. I hope I wasn't too all over the place. I hope that you could understand what I was saying. So yeah, thank you very much, and I will be back with more probably tomorrow because it's late.